one of my good friends, Klaus Obermeyer. I interviewed him years ago, and he said, it's a choice. You can choose how you react to every situation, and I choose happiness. And I just so identified with that it is a choice. And we can react to different situations, to adversity, to challenges in our life, however we want. We can lose it and freak out, or we can, choose the path of happiness and say, hey, I'm gonna figure this out and do so in a really constructive and positive manner. And I think the other thing that's really led to my happiness is, and I know it sounds so cliche, but when you've stood on death's doorstep, or what seemed to be death's doorstep for me, being on a transplant waiting list for almost 6 years, and not sure if I was ever going to get a second chance organ transplant, and be here today. And now I'm celebrating 21 years since my life-saving liver transplant. But that gives you an amazing perspective to what's truly important in life. And for me, that's my family, my friends, my faith, my quality of life, getting to live in this incredible environment, and really trying to make the most of every day, because it really is a gift for me. And I was really reminded of that 21 years ago. And it's sort of an interesting perspective for me. On the one hand, I'm healthy. There's nothing I can't do today. I'm way healthier today than I ever was before my transplant. And so sometimes it's easy to forget that I ever had a transplant and that I'm a transplant recipient. At the same time, when, as I said, you've stood on death's doorstep and had that perspective, and a complete stranger has made the most heroic and selfless gift and given me and 2 other strangers a second chance at life, that's a very humbling experience that you never forget.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So for listeners, I'm sure that resonates so much, as it does for me. And I guess then, can you define mindset as a habit for listeners? So what I hear you saying is that it's a matter of perspective. And is it more than perspective? Is it a way to train your brain to view the world? Tell us how you define it.
I've had 3 distinct experiences that really reinforce the importance of mindset for me. The first real encounter was a high school football game. I was playing quarterback for Mountain View High School in Bend, Oregon. I was born here in Colorado, but grew up in Bend, Oregon. And I was playing quarterback, and we were playing a team, LeGrand, Oregon. And they were in the lead, and we were favored, but sort of struggling. And I stepped into that huddle, and we had to drive it. I can't remember, 40, 50, 60 yards. And I just got into that huddle. I said, you guys, we're getting into the end zone. There's no alternative. And somehow I convinced those other 10 team members that this is what we're doing. And it wasn't a spectacular drive by any means, but we set our mind to it. And the 11 of us collectively, all just got across that goal line. And it was so distinct for me that that's what we were doing, and there was no other alternative.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of my first kind of experience, like, wow, you really set your mind to this, you work hard, and you really have faith in your training and your preparation, and rely on that, that it works. And then I think the biggest one for me was I was at 7 West, the recovery floor at University Hospital, just after my transplant, and visualized myself laying there in bed. I was visualizing myself. I had all kinds of machines and IVs and everything hooked up right after an organ transplant. And I saw myself at Mount Hood on the Palmer Snowfield in Oregon, making big, beautiful turns again on my snowboard. And all my teammates were there training, and we were just a year and a half out from the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. And I had a lot to second guess myself, a lot of reasons to do so. But instead, I just laid there and just visualized myself making these turns, and that sensation of what it was like on a snowboard, and being back with my teammates and my friends doing what I love. And sure enough, about 7 weeks later, I was riding my snowboard again at Mount Hood with all of my teammates.
Wow, 7 weeks. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was a pretty miraculous recovery. No infection, no rejection. And the anti-rejection drugs I still take today, they're doing a great job. I'm still here.
So,
And then
go ahead.
one other experience was really poignant for me was at the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake City. We were in Park City Resort where they held the snowboarding events. And I just was in the starting gate and I said, this is my day. I'm bringing home a medal today. And it was kind of miraculous that I was there considering what I'd been through the last year and a half with my liver transplant. But nobody expected me to be there. And I did that. And I said, well, I'm here. I might as well bring home a nice shiny necklace today. And I woke up that day and I said, this is my day. I'm bringing home a medal. And I just fought through the rounds and got into the small final and just knew I was going to do it that day. And so I think if you can, we talk about living our lives intentionally, not being slaves to our inbox, not reacting and responding, but getting up and starting your day on your terms. And you and I talked about this the other day, but having a great morning routine, I think, is an essential part of that. And for me, I really subscribe to this ninja selling program and really a ninja, what I would call a lifestyle program. And one of the neatest things about it is not how to be successful in sales and marketing, but how to live a successful life, a well-balanced life that's on your terms. You're not always reacting. You're not always, responding to your inbox, but really intentional in how you go about it. And I think one of the things that's key for me is the Ninja 9 is starting your day with your gratitudes. And I know you do this all the time, lady, but it's essential for me and getting up and saying thank you for, a couple of things that are most important in my life at that time. And maybe it's simply just, a great workout the day before, a great bike ride, but usually it surrounds my family, my friends, my faith, my quality of life, my being able to enjoy this environment that we're in. And then the second thing that I do is I do a 3-week affirmation. And every morning I'll sit down and do that. And I do that personally. And I do that with our team, with my real estate sales team. And we have a team affirmation as well.
Can you give us an example of an affirmation for those people who might not be familiar with what affirmations are?
Yeah, it always needs to be in the positive, and in the first person.
Right.
So something like, I enjoy, this is my affirmation, but just an example is, I enjoy contracting and selling $10 million in the month of August, or I enjoy doing yoga every day for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And something that's really in the first person, positive. And I'm not an expert on affirmations. I'm just telling you from my firsthand experience that it works. And I see this all the time with my kids. Kids say, I don't like that oftentimes because maybe they don't have the confidence at that particular activity or that exercise, or they perceive that they're not good at it. So I don't like soccer because I whiffed when I went to kick the ball and it was embarrassing and I didn't like it. And I remember this with CrossFit when I did CrossFit for many years. And I know it sounds sort of cult-like, but can't is a 4-letter word. And,
right.
And if you say, I can't do this, I can't do that, well, you're a manifestation of your thoughts and your ideas, and we are what we believe. And when I public speak, and I've done a lot of corporate motivational speaking for 20 years during my snowboarding career, and I love doing it. But one of the kind of lessons that I share in the end, my recipe for success, if you will, is you've got to see it to make it happen. My father gave me the snowboarding advice at my first US Open at Stratton Mountain, Vermont. He says, Chris, just go out and plan your race your plan.
I love that.
Like, Dad, what in the world are you talking about? My dad's never snowboarded a day in his life, but he gave me some of the greatest snowboard coaching advice and life advice I'd ever received. Plan your race your plan. And what he's saying is, you know how to do this. You've got to just race your plan. And for us, it's you gotta see it to make it happen. You got to believe it to make it happen. And for me, it was on that recovery floor at 7 West at University Hospital. I saw myself at Mount Hood making big, beautiful arcs on my snowboard again with my teammates. And 7 weeks later, after a liver transplant, I was doing that. And when I woke up that morning in 2002 in Salt Lake City, I said, this is my day. I'm bringing home a necklace today. And sure enough, I did.
Wow. So I want to bring us back to the morning routine because, I have clients, coaching clients, and I often start here with habit change, which is the way we start. The tone of the morning is the way we show up and our mindset for the entire day, right? So you said you did gratitude and then you did affirmations. What else do you do?
Well, then the third morning routine is my 2 thank you letters. And I've got my box of stationery right here to my left. I'm sitting in my office. And I like to write my thank yous in the morning, because then that puts you in a grateful mindset of being thankful for, where you are in that moment, if you will.
And what kind of thank you letters? Really quick. So for people that may be thinking, well, I've never written a thank you letter in my life, who do you write thank you letters to?
Well, anybody. Maybe it could just be somebody that helped support you in your business. Maybe it was a coworker that did something nice. Maybe it's just somebody that you want to build a more meaningful personal or work relationship with, and you just say, "Hey, thanks. I really appreciate what you're doing in your life and how you help support our team and myself." And there's no shortage of thank yous for me to write. I mean, I could write 10 every single morning, and I just write 2 and try to do that every single morning, because it puts you in the right mindset.
And people love to receive them, I should say. I love thank you letters because no one writes them anymore. And when they're received, people are completely blown away. So it's an easy, very low cost way to show appreciation, as well as put yourself in appreciation.
And you can, if you have a box of stationery at your desk, you can do it in 5 minutes. You can write 2 thank you notes. And if you do that every morning, that's pretty significant.